D.Bail, host of the Convo podcast, and I am honored to have my first cousin on the platform with me today. This is Regina Newby, the Wonder Woman of hair. She's the owner and operator of Vita Nova Salon in Chesterfield County, Virginia, and she is a cosmetologist that has been doing amazing things, owning her own business. And the Convo podcast is a place for extraordinary people and extraordinary circumstances. And I thought it would be so cool for my audience to speak to someone that's been manifesting and living out her dreams for forever. You know, ever since I've known you, you've been a go-getter, and it's like just amazing to see all the different things that you have going on right now. So thank you so much for spending some time with me today.
Not a problem at all.
So when we talk about cosmetology, what were your early, inspirations? What got you into wanting to become a cosmetologist first and foremost?
I wanted to be a cosmetologist ever since I was 8. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think I was just fascinated with the creativity. So like, whenever I had to do a project in school, I always did it based on when I have my first salon, this is what it's going to be. So I remember doing like this little booklet. I don't even know what grade I was in, but at the time I was calling it like B's Beauty Salon. And I had where the desk was going to be, where the chairs, the waiting area. So God gave me that vision like at an early age. So, when people, sometimes ask you, well, how'd you get started? And I was like, I don't know. God just planted the seed and, I just kind of ran with it.
Regina Newby has been owner and operator of Vita Nova Salon since 2008. For over 26 years, she has worked as a licensed cosmetologist who has built her brand awareness with her premium customer service and outstanding talents. She is a recipient of the 2018 RVA Icon Award, and in 2014, her salon won Best Hair Salon in Richmond. As a wife, mother, and author, Regina has raised the bar with her exemplary strength and wisdom and the ability to make everyone who visits her shop feel at home.
The Wonder Woman of hair. How did that name come about? Where did that moniker come from?
I know everybody asks me that. Well, when I opened up my first salon, I first opened up in 2008. Mm-hmm. So I was trying to figure out how I wanted to brand myself because I don't want to be like, just the hairstylist, I think that's just so common. Sometimes people think people in my profession, like we're not professionals. So I was trying to figure out a way, like, how am I going to brand myself? And then I thought that I remember that I always had a fascination with Wonder Woman. Ever since I was a little girl, like I was crazy about Wonder Woman. Like, growing up in the country, you could not tell me that when I got in the yard with my hula hoop and my mama's bangles, that I was not her. So that's how it came about. I just realized, I was like, you know what? Since I have a fascination of Wonder Woman, why don't I just call myself the Wonder Woman of hair? So it stuck. It took a little while, everybody knows about hashtags and all that kind of stuff, social media. Absolutely. But, once I started it and kept repeating it and saying that's who I was, then now it sticks. So that's when I realized, I was like, okay, it worked. Because when you come up with a brand, then you want it to stick. You don't want to just have a brand out there that nobody remembers or nobody can think of. So now when even my clients are out in the street or anybody that knows me through social media, when they see Wonder Woman, I get inboxes, text messages, have you seen this? Or I got this for you. So that's when I knew, like, yeah, I got it. My brand stuck.
Wow. How difficult was that process? And, starting a business, you said in 2008, like having a vision, what is the process of having a vision and then moving it into something more concrete? Because a lot of people have great ideas, but they kind of get stuck at the process between the creation and the actual manifestation of whatever their goal or dream is. How difficult was that for you, or how easy was it for you?
Well, definitely not easy. I will tell anybody that if you're starting your own business, it will not be easy. It is a long, hard journey. It's not an instant gratification. But actually, when I opened my salon, it was truly just by faith. Like I said, I've always wanted to have my own salon. I've always wanted to do hair since I was 8. And I was working at a friend's salon. And at the time, she had decided to move to Atlanta. So she said, and I had been like, helping her out at the salon, kind of like as a salon manager. And she was like, well, I wanted to offer you this first. She said, would you be interested in buying my salon? And I was just like, I mean, I would, but I don't have money to buy a salon. So the funny thing is that then I got a phone call from like a realtor, and I hadn't talked to him in probably like a couple of years, and this was just so out of the blue. And he was just calling and like, hey, I was just seeing, how you and Jonathan doing, and and I told him what I was had been up to. I was like, well, I'm working at a salon, and I said, I'm kind of, I'm thinking about buying a salon, or I guess at this point, if I don't buy hers, I'm going to have to find somewhere to work. So I might have to get another space. And he was like, oh, well, tell me more about your idea. I might be willing to invest. So at that moment, I knew that was God telling me, like, this is what I want you to do right now. Because like I said, I hadn't talked to this person a couple of years, just out the blue. He mentions like, oh, well, tell me more about it. I might be wanting to invest. So to me, that was just like the light bulb moment that I knew it was like, okay, God says to do this now. Because like I said, you can't always move on your feelings of what you see, because we're used to kind of just like, well, no, I don't see it, so it's not going to happen. But I truly just moved on faith. So I started, going around to empty spaces that were for lease. I started talking to, different property managers, and everything else just fell into place. But truly, it was me taking the first step. And that's what, if you're a business owner, that's what you have to do. If you don't have faith, then you won't make it at all. Because if I had just gone by what I was seeing in the physical, which the bank account is not saying, open up a salon. But when God is in the midst, it's like I can make everything possible. So I became a salon owner. My first salon was like 3,000 square feet. My husband helped me with it. If it wasn't for him, also it wouldn't have been possible. So it's just a faith journey when you're a business owner.
Yeah, and speaking of Jonathan and even your friend that called you, can you speak about the importance of like shared circle manifestation, like having a circle that supports you? Like, how important is that? Because people think that I can do it by myself, and
no. Well, it is extremely important for those that don't know. My husband, Jonathan Newby, passed away in 2019 after a 7-year battle with large B-cell lymphoma. So we had actually this past September, like September 7th, we're still in September, but it would have been our 25th anniversary. So he was, my number one supporter. He was actually, the person that if I, as a business owner, sometimes you think you have it together, like, oh, I got this idea, this is gonna work. And then when it doesn't, you're like, you're frustrated. So he was kind of the person that, he'd be like, no, this is what you're going to do. And you need to do this. And so even when I was down, he brought me back up and, helped me to stay on track, because everyone is human. You do get those days where you're just like frustrated. You're just trying your best, and things aren't going the way that you want it to go or how quick you want it to go. So, it's important to have a good support system. I always got the question asked because, I do travel for work. I work in Atlanta. Sometimes I go to, Florida to work. And people always ask, being married, they were like, so does your husband have a problem with you traveling? I would be like, no, my husband's cool. Like, because I included him in the plan. And even in my industry, I would have, females that I'm friends with, hairstylists, and they would ask me, how do I balance, married life and kids? And I said, well, you have to include your spouse in your plan. It can't just be your plan. The whole family has to know. So if I'm out of town, even when my kids were younger, they knew what I was going for. Like, I'm going to do this so that we can do this. So you just don't want to leave your spouse out, because you can have great ideas and plans, but if you're not including the family, and so everybody knows what the objective is and what the goal is, then, miscommunication can happen. And that's where, people's relationship tend to kind of, get a little shaky. But it's also good to have good business relationships too. Always having business cards, and just going to events that are with like-minded people, because you never know down the road where you're going to need their business, or that they may need yours. Like, sometimes I have to refer clients, if I'm busy, because I have a big clientele. If someone calls, I'll be like, hey, well, I have my friend, she does this also, let me give you her number. So, you just have to always stay connected and just get out there.
Wow. You said some great words. I just want to pick up on the last thing that you spoke about. And it's interesting because I'm sure in your field as well, it's very competitive, but you looked at it from a different perspective, saying, hey, these could be, future partners. These are people that I would send to other people. And I think that your outlook on that is just such a positive thing, because a lot of times when you go to these different events or hair shows, everybody's trying to one up each other. And it's like, that your talent shines so much that you don't even need to compete with other people, because your reputation already precedes you.
I mean, I always believe in what's for you is for you. I know I was talking to a friend of mine that does makeup, and I was telling her, we were talking about, a couple of things, and she had an idea. She was like, well, someone, else has done that. And I said, well, you know what? A perfect example is Rihanna. Everyone knows Rihanna from music, but how many makeup lines were out before Rihanna? You have like thousands of makeup lines, but yet Rihanna, when she launched Fenty, Rihanna's brand is now $1 billion. So I always use that example as a perfect example. It does not matter how many people are already doing it. You yourself are a brand. And just like Fenty has their clientele, you're going to have, your clientele, your people that are going to just be attracted to you. Because sometimes my mentor always says, people are attracted to you. They will buy you before they buy the product. So that's truly what you're selling. It's not just about, you having just another product to launch. It's about the connection that you have with people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And just thinking about your husband, Jonathan, he really was a great man. Man. And I love the fact that y'all did travel together. I remember you in New Jersey, you had the convention in New York, and you stayed with our cousin Donnie. It was such a great time. But I love what you said about including your spouse in everything that you do. And to the audience out there, if you want more tidbits like that, my cousin also wrote a book called Popcorn Ready Marriage, where she talks about, these things and her experiences with her husband, and just great advice. But you're moving in a lot of different spaces within the entrepreneur realm, from a cosmetologist and a business owner, and now as an author as well. Do you want to talk about the release of your latest book and how people can purchase that?
Yeah, my first book that I did was How to Have a Popcorn Ready Marriage. And I know that title kind of throws everyone off, but if you get the ebook, you will
Yes.
realize how I came up with the title.
Yeah.
But, that one is just based on just some relationship advice. Like I said, I married my husband when I was 22, had been with him since I was 19. So it's the small things that people tend to forget over the years. I don't know, people sometimes get comfortable, but it's just the small things. It's not everything is about material things. It's about just knowing your partner's love language, and that's very important as well. Some people, some ladies might, they might be into the flowers and all of that, but then you have someone that's just like, hey, I just appreciated that you made me breakfast this morning. I just appreciate that you put the coffee by my bed. You gave me a foot massage. It's those little things that keep a marriage strong. So if you get the ebook, you can get some other tips. But I also, my second book was actually my husband and I book, and I have it right here.
Awesome.
This one is the face I made when the doctor said I had cancer again. So the first 3 chapters are in his words. Absolutely nothing was altered. So you get to know a little bit about my husband. And then I picked it up. So it talks about his journey with cancer, his thoughts. And then as I finished off the book, you just learned about my thoughts about, different things that were going on, and also just about, faith and just God strengthening you through the different storms. And, it's not always easy.
Right.
It's not easy to, smile, but sometimes you smile to keep from crying. But I do have a deep faith in God. So I know no matter what, he's always going to take care of me. So it's just a book that really talks about, his cancer journey, my thoughts, his thoughts, and just about, having faith and, what that all means.
What prompted you to feel like, other than him starting the book, what prompted you to say, I need to finish this? Did you feel like this is something that would strengthen other people that might be going through similar situations?
Yeah, I did, because the funny thing is like, sometimes when you're going through different storms in life, people are always watching, and you don't know that they're watching because you're just in the midst of the storm, just trying to get through, but people are watching. So I begin to have like ladies come up to me, clients or friends clients, and they be like, hey, such and such is going through this. I've been watching how you handle it. You're such an inspiration. And they're just like, how did you do it all? Like, your husband's sick, you got the business, you got the kids. So that kind of made me think, I'm like, okay, God, like what you doing? I'm just Regina Newby. I'm just trying to get through this and just take everything a day at a time. But God has a way of kind of nudging you and getting you to do things that you didn't think you were capable of doing, but he just drops, like I said, little nuggets and little hints to be like, no, you're gonna finish this book. You're not gonna have one book, you're gonna have 2 books, you're gonna have 3 books, 4 books. So that's kind of where, I felt that his story needed to be told, because 7 years was a long time to battle cancer, and also from the spouse perspective of dealing with it, because I had to grow as well in my faith. I say, had my husband passed in 2013, like when he first started cancer treatment, I don't even think I would have handled it like I handle it now. And I don't mean that in a way that I don't want people to think I don't still hurt, I'm not in pain. But through storms, God will strengthen you. So I believe that he was preparing me to be the person that I am today, so that when he decided to call my husband home, that I would be the person. I need you to help other people. That is what I want you to do. Like, the journey, your story is not over. So I always want you to tell you and Jonathan's story, because I'm bringing him home to get peace, but I have work for you still to do. So that's how I look at it.
Oh, amen. That is such a powerful testimony. And once again, I implore my audience to please go out and to support those two books. They're different, but they're very powerful. And it moved me. It really, really moved me reading about Jonathan's story in his words, and then your words as well. Right now, as a business owner, we're going through this pandemic, and it's altered the way that we've lived. It's altered the way that we work, the way we eat, the way we interact with people.
Everything.
And you having an intimate environment of being somebody that's in close quarters with people. How have you dealt with the pandemic as a business owner? And what do you see coming out of this right now?
Actually, people, ask us like, well, how's business? And I'm like, I never slowed down since we opened back up. It's just, I think COVID, in a way, like a lot of people, they were stuck in jobs that they hated. So, COVID actually let some people open up brand new businesses, work in their passion instead of working a job that they hate. So for me, as a cosmetologist, of course I had to, change like the way I do business, but it also gave me new ideas as well. So as bad as COVID is, it almost was like that time where, God is kind of like, okay, I'm gonna slow stuff down, and I'm gonna sit you still, and I'm gonna give you some ideas. So I think that happened to not just me, but a lot of people, because you just get so busy day to day, and sometimes you just need that time to just sit down, be quiet, and listen. And ideas will start to flow. But business has been good. I have absolutely no complaints about that, thank God. But you just gotta change your way of thinking. Sometimes doing things a new way isn't bad. We get comfortable with the norm, but sometimes the norm needs to be shaken up a little bit.
Right. Because when you're taken out of your comfort space, I feel like that gives you the space to have new ideas come in. But when you become comfortable, it's like, why am I going to try to do different techniques or come up with different ideas if I'm good? But I always look at it as glass half full. I never look at it as empty, and I always try to say to myself, okay, what can I do with this extra time? And for me, it was, going back to school, working on another degree, trying to better myself. Because ultimately, I feel the same calling as you, whereas I feel like we're here to help people. So as an educator, I want to make sure that I have all the tools to give my students the tools to succeed. And if you're going to be online and be remote, then instead of mumbling and grumbling about it, I have to do the best to become better at remote teaching. So that's what the pandemic has provided me, just like, all right, we are half full, and we're gonna make this work. We're gonna make this work. Tell me a little bit about working with Kirk Pro hair products, and you being this corporate staff member and traveling around. How does that situation work with Kirk Pro products?
Well, actually, my mentor always tells the funny story. I met my mentor in, I think it was 2020. 2010, I think, 2009, 2010. And he had just won, I think at that time, it was his third Barnes Brothers competition. So I was at a hair conference in Norfolk and he was one of the educators. So I just love like his style of teaching. He was very down to earth, very relatable. So, you know, I was asking him like, how do we keep up with like where you're going to have classes? So he was like, oh, you know, I got a mentorship program. So if you're in my mentorship program, you're gonna, know about the classes and where I'm gonna be teaching. So I was like, okay. So I just everywhere he was teaching, I would find out where he was teaching and I would like show up. So when he tells people the story, because I'm like one of the few longest members of our team, our hair team, he said, it's like, yeah, I think she was stalking me a little bit. But in my mind, that was like the determination, that entrepreneur in me, like, you know what?
Absolutely.
I said, I'm going to be working on his team. He needs me on his team. He just doesn't know it yet. So that's what you got to do sometimes to like open those doors. You got to, if it's somebody that you admire, that you want to be like, then you need to follow them. And then they're going to catch on and be like, dang, every time I teach this class, the same girl is here. And kind of the rest is history. But, I think it's very important to have mentors.
I was going to ask you, why do you feel that way as an entrepreneur?
Mentors will tell you sometimes the hard things that you don't want to hear. And I always say that, like, when I'm talking about like celebrities, I was like, and sometimes you see the stories, celebrities, and it's just that life is chaos. You cannot have yes people around you all the time. You have to have for real people that are going to give you the hard truth, whether you want to hear it or not. But those people keep you grounded and those people help you to grow. So that's why I think a mentor is important, because obviously whether you're in cosmetology world or education like you, is there someone that you look up to be like, hey, I like their style of teaching, I like the way they do business. That's the person that you want to be around, to pick their brain. And that's why, it's just important to have a mentor, because they, keep you on track. And sometimes they can see things in you that you don't even know are there. I think that's an important thing that mentors do. They bring out the best, because like I said, most of us like to stay in our comfort zone. We like to do what's safe, but mentors can kind of see, like, I see this in you. So, it's like, I'm gonna pull this out of you because you don't even realize it yet. So it's very important to have mentors in your life.
And I love how you said, taking initiative is extremely important. And I tell my students all the time, a closed mouth don't get fed. Nobody knows what you want. Nobody's a mind reader. If you want something, you have to put the effort forth. And then the Bible even says, faith without works is dead. You sit there on a couch and wish it all you want to, but unless you get out there and actually try to make the connections, then it's really not going to work out for you. What, in your opinion, what is the proper way to reach out to somebody that you admire? Because it's a thin line between persistence and annoyance. And even people that want to work in radio, they'll hit me and they say, well, I want to work at Hot 97 WBLS. And I emailed this person 20 times in 20 days. And I'm like, that's not the way to go about it. They're like, they're not responding. I'm like, because it's a little bit too much. How do you ride that line between annoyance and persistence, in your opinion?
I think, one thing is just, first of all, to be yourself, especially like if you're meeting someone at events in person, it's just to be yourself. Sometimes people try to, they try to be something that they're not in order to get the person's attention. But I think if you're just, if you're just being yourself, being authentic, they're going to be able to see that. So even though you're like, okay, I'm going to go here because I want to meet this person. If you're authentic and genuine, they're going to pick up on that. It's usually like if they're not responding in some type of way, it's because they realize like, it's something about that person that just isn't, real.
Right.
And I think even, when people are looking for people to work in their business, they're looking for people that are real. Like, I don't need you to try to be like this person. I just need you to be yourself, because each person has their own individual skills. So, and just don't give up. I mean,
Right.
and that's just plain and simple. Just don't give up. I mean, if it takes you 50 times email, if it takes you 100, well, guess what? It might be just one day where they're just sitting down doing nothing. They're like, oh yeah, I done ran across this person's name before in an email. Let me see what they're talking about. So it just can't be that you say, well, I emailed them 20 times and, they're not responding. Okay, well, do it 20 more times. Do it 100 more times. Like, you just can't quit. I mean, that's what most people do, because it gets a little difficult or you don't get that instant gratification, then you kind of give up on it. But if you truly admire someone's work and you want to learn from them, then you keep at it. Eventually, they will notice if you're being true to yourself.
Absolutely. And sometimes the answer is not now. And that doesn't necessarily mean no. It doesn't mean no. So, and I always tell people too, you don't know what's going on in somebody else's life. You might have reached out to that person 20 times. They might be going through a situation that they can't talk about. They might be grieving. They might be going through relationship issues. So sometimes you have to just let it be and come back to it. What people do, unfortunately, is they don't get the response they want, and then they might badmouth somebody. And that might have been the day where the person was saying, I'm gonna reach out to this person. Now this lands online. They're saying, oh, okay, you blew your opportunity. So don't always take a not now as a no. Like you said.
Delay is not denial.
Love it.
Most of us have a problem with waiting. So, you got to be patient. Being an entrepreneur is not, gonna be easy. Anyone that tells you it's easy, then obviously they aren't putting any work, because it's gonna be long nights. It's gonna be some sacrifices, giving up some things. So, it's hard work. So if you're not up to the hard work, then you just better go on to another career.
Yeah.
Just work for somebody else.
Absolutely. It is not for the faint at heart. And I also wanted to plug the scrubs and the lotions we were talking about before the interview started. My wife is a big fan of your skincare products. So tell us a little bit about your line and how people can get in touch with you to try out some of these things.
Okay. Well, my line is 97. 97 consists of body and makeup items. And 97 name comes from my husband and I anniversary. We were married September 7th, 1996. So I was just trying to think of, because the line is dedicated in memory of him. So a lot of the products in my line, like lip glosses and things like that, the names of them are in relationship to things in our relationship. So like Together Forever, Smooth Operator, things like it tells a love story through, I say, scents and colors. It tells a love story. So each, everything you see is based on our relationship. But they can order. I'm on Facebook under Regina Newby. Of course, my salon is on Facebook, Vita Nova Salon. They can hit me up on Instagram at Queens World 208. And my skincare right now, I have oatmeal body scrub and body butter, and I have lavender body scrub and body butter. And I must say, I'm not just to my own horn, they are absolutely wonderful. The lavender is amazing at nighttime when you've had a long, hard day at work.
Yes.
I am telling you, the lavender scent will just put you in an instant, like, calm mood.
It is so good. Like, my wife takes a shower and it literally will smell up the whole room. Like, the lavender will drift out, and it is good, y'all. I'm not just plugging it's my family, but she is on her job and she is great at what she does. And okay, 9-7. So we're gonna make sure that we put all your information throughout the interview scattered out.
Thank you.
But we love to leave our audience with some inspirational words. What can you say to emerging entrepreneurs? I mean, you said so much already, but one last tidbit that you can leave emerging entrepreneurs that might see this interview and have passions to start their own business.
I think I want to leave everyone with, if something is truly your passion, then it won't seem like work. I've been doing hair for 28 years. I still love it. Now I am getting older. So yes, at some point I am going to retire, but I will still always be involved somewhat in the beauty industry. But follow your passion and be yourself and give yourself time and allow yourself the ability to make mistakes, but grow from them. Now, if you make a mistake and don't grow from it, then you have to do some self-evaluation, but don't be too hard on yourself. Things come in time, and don't worry about what someone else is doing. You focus on you. So pray daily and just walk by faith. And if you walk by faith, God, if you take one step, I promise you he'll order all the rest in your favor.
Absolutely. I believe that wholeheartedly. I really do. All right. Well, this is Regina Newby, the Wonder Woman of hair. And she is amazing. She's an author. She's a cosmetologist. So once again, guys, we're going to have all the links laid out. Please support. And thank you for watching the Convo podcast. Extraordinary people, extraordinary circumstance.
Thanks for having me.
Because I love you. I love you so much.
Love you too.
Listen, you just keep on shining. You are a huge inspiration for me. And I know that the people that are out there that see your postings on a daily basis, like, man, like you are the embodiment of Wonder Woman, like truly. Seriously.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I respect your grind. So this once again,
I admire you too, cuz.
Well, thank you. This is what we do. This is Bailey.
Yeah, that's what we do.
We grind, y'all. So WrestleMedia.com, where you can check out this interview. It'll be coming within the next week or so. But Regina, thank you again for your time. I appreciate you, fam.
You're welcome. Anytime.
All right. Y'all take care. Talk to y'all soon.
Bye.
Peace.
Please visit and like La Vita Nova Salon on Facebook.com. And for information on Regina and her services, check out WonderWomanOfHair.com.